Welcome back to another disturbing journey in the southern underworld. But before we get started, I'd like to ask you to please like, comment, subscribe, and share this devilish delight with your horror friends and fam. Engagement is essential, and it helps our little channel grow. In tonight's chilling tale, we find four friends making terrible life choices in the woods. Buckle up for a night of questionable decisions and probably some light monster mauling. I call this delightful descent into dread. Wrong turn. The crunch of leaves underfoot was the only sound breaking the eerie silence of the forest. We should have turned back hours ago when the narrow trail started fading away, but my friend insisted we keep going until we found the perfect campsite. Now, as darkness smothered the dense trees around us, I realized how foolish we'd been. I messed up, I confessed under my breath, fumbling in my bag for the flashlight. The feeble glow of its light wavered, barely penetrating the crushing blackness. Something's wrong. Jake's chuckle bounced off the surrounding trees, his boots crunching on the leaf-covered trail as he strolled past me. "Scaredy cat," he mocked, his voice a comforting break from the silence. "This is our way." I let out an exhausted sigh and trailed after him with reluctance. Noel and Chris seemed to share my unease. The crack of a twig made us freeze in our tracks. There was a rustling sound nearby. "Maybe we should set up camp here," Noel suggested, her voice quivering slightly. "No way," Jake retorted. "We're not sleeping in wolf territory. Stay quiet and keep moving." A chill ran down my spine. Something was off about these woods. But Jake was drawn to danger. Rash and spontaneous, he always managed to lead us into precarious situations. So like hundreds of times before, we followed him. After some time, we noticed a small clearing up ahead. "See? Perfect spot," Jake declared, halting abruptly as his flashlight illuminated an ancient cabin cloaked in moss and nearly consumed by nature itself. "What is that?" Chris stuttered. I squinted at the side of the crumbling structure, spotting something shiny near a half-open cellar door. "How did this—" My question was interrupted by a spine-chilling moan. It sounded human but warped. We spun around, frantically attempting to locate the source of the sound. Then we saw it. A massive figure shrouded in the fog, striding right toward us. A putrid scent came. It made my eyes tear up and my stomach revolt. Noel screamed. I yelled, "Run!" grabbing Jake's arm and yanking him back toward our path. It was too late. The monstrous creature spotted us and charged toward us on all fours. Its powerful muscles rippled beneath its matted fur, propelling it at a terrifying speed. My heart raced as its heavy footsteps echoed through the forest like a drumbeat. In a frenzy of fear, we sprinted through the dense underbrush. Chris's flashlight beam bobbed over the rugged terrain and fallen logs in our path. The darkness seemed to swallow us whole as we plunged deeper into the forest, our only hope to outrun the beast behind us. We ran for what seemed like hours, my lungs seared with each breath, and my muscles screamed in protest, but I couldn't stop. The thought of being caught by the monster behind us was too terrifying. We zigzagged through the trees, branches whipping at our faces and thorns scratching our skin. The ground beneath us was slick with mud and leaves, making it difficult to maintain our footing. Behind me, my friends struggled to keep up. I closed my eyes and willed myself to run faster. We came to an ancient stone chamber. Not exactly safe, but it would have to do for now. The remnants of a wooden door on rusted hinges were the only thing separating the ominous structure from the outside world. We entered the building, huddling close to one another for comfort and warmth. Above, stray beams of moonlight slipped through a grated opening. In the faint light from a hidden crack, my nightmare slowly came into view. A large trough stretched across the chamber until it turned into a rusted mining cart filled with horrifying contents. Skulls peeking through masses of coagulated tissue, severed limbs piled on top of one another in a gruesome display of desecration. As shock gave way to horrifying realization, I noticed mounds surrounding the cart pulsating rhythmically with raspy echoes, breathing mounds made up of decomposing flesh soaked in blood. Countless they were. A terrifying sea of semi-animate remains groaning in either pain or hunger. I couldn't tell which. They writhed and tore at one another. That gurgling sound that had haunted me from the woods was back, tortured death cries mixed with a sickening sloshing that made the terror so much worse than before. We'd unwittingly taken refuge in a vile slaughterhouse. Drawing a deep breath, I was assaulted by the overpowering stench of decay that instantly churned my insides. My hands instinctively flew to my face, shielding my mouth and nose in an attempt at blocking out the nauseating smell. But it was to no avail. The lingering odor had already taken hold, embedding itself stubbornly within my senses. The heap of horror's attention shifted toward me as if drawn by some monstrous appetite. Pieces of rotten flesh fell away, only to be replaced instantly by regenerating viscera and squirming blood-soaked muscle. Survival instinct kicked in. I clawed my way back to the door. Skeletal fingers reached out from the churning sea of decay, tearing away chunks of flesh as they sought leverage. A monstrous hand broke through the surface ahead, its filthy nails scraping dangerously close to my face as it struggled to pull itself into this realm. I froze when a skull surfaced next, sinew and veined flesh weaving itself across the exposed bone, eyelids unfurling to reveal hollow, lifeless pits. Overcome by fear, I threw myself against the warped wooden door in a desperate attempt to escape. The old wood splintered under my force and momentum, sending me sprawling onto the cold, hard ground. Panting heavily, I squinted through teary eyes at the cavernous underworld before me. The air was thick with the stench of rot and something sickly sweet. An unusual radiance created lengthy, distorted shadows across an expansive maze of roots and deep crevices that appeared to tunnel into the earth's molten heart. The cave walls were damp with a shimmering substance that emitted a mild odor of iron and decay, reflecting the peculiar light in ways that played tricks on our sight. My comrades emerged from my rear, their expressions echoing my astonishment as they absorbed the immense subterranean realm we had stumbled upon. Chris's voice trembled and faltered as he queried, Where are we?" The spectral light throbbed once like a pulse before it intensified, lighting up the moist cave walls. Unnerving symbols and figures had been inscribed in a blood-red fluid that imparted a metallic flavor in my mouth when I unconsciously licked my lips. They were unsettling combinations of human forms intertwined with monstrous beasts. Abruptly, a low rumble reverberated below us, vibrating through our footwear and rattling us to our very core. A startling sound followed that sent shivers down my spine. The creature was back. It inhaled deeply to pick up my scent, then opened its mouth wide. It let out a sound that made the hairs on the back of my neck stand on end. More skeletal heads appeared from the swirling darkness. I attempted to free myself, but sharp claws dug into my legs, slicing through my jeans and scraping against my skin. A stronger stench of decay filled the air, making me gag as it invaded my nostrils and mouth. Decomposed fingers, their tendons exposed like frayed wires, fumbled under my clothes in an eager attempt at dragging me further into the terrifying dark. I twisted and jerked violently, but for each hand I managed to shake off. Another 3 replaced it. The relentless assault closed in from all sides with the restless force of countless tormented spirits. The sickening smell of rot and dried blood filled my nose, choking me. I knew I was going to die here, in this horrible place. A desperate call for help left my mouth, echoing into the empty silence. Death. It was too complex an idea for someone my age, an unexpected visitor I'd never thought to encounter so soon. I'd never experienced the loss of a loved one. I didn't know what to do. Should I pray or prepare myself for the end? My heart raced, each beat a signal of the looming danger. The atmosphere was loaded with unspoken words and unrealized dreams. The encroaching darkness reached out for me, and I stood on the edge of nothingness with only despair for company. Alone, abandoned, afraid. As darkness engulfed me, a cold sensation dragged me deeper into the abyss. My hand brushed against something hard and round, a skull hidden in the grime. Just before my vision was completely obscured by rotting flesh, I heard my friends' terrified screams for the last time, drowned out by countless decaying voices. The empty was cold and damp, pressing in from all sides and stealing my breath. An endless expanse stretched before me, filled with constant pressure and a transformation more frightening than death itself. I attempted to call for help, for mercy, for an end to this nightmare. But the only sound that returned was the continuous moans of lost souls sighing in the dark tomb. And somewhere within that haunting noise, my pained cries eventually found their voice. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. See you next time. Thank you for watching.